Yo, YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy HVAC1K. Bring you guys another great video, dog! Yo, don't take me serious. I just crack myself up sometimes, like, for real. But nah, seriously, in today's video, I'm gonna be... What is wrong with me, bro? In today's video, I'm gonna be bringing you guys some great information on how I became EPA certified in 6-month time span. So if you guys like the video, be sure to like it, literally, no pun intended, and then comment on the video to give me some good feedback. Let me know if there's any questions concerning you guys may have, and I'm gonna do my best to reach out and, you know, answer those questions for you guys. And then last but not least, subscribe to the channel so that you guys can join the family and you'll see my videos a lot more often once you go onto the YouTube platform. And because I'm just that amazing, like, who doesn't want to see this beautiful face every day, bro? Like, seriously. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video. I tried to, you know, elaborate a little bit with some details so it feels like it's you in the situation. And hopefully you guys take a little bit from it and it'll help you in your job search or your career change or whatever the case may be. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into today's video. Peace, love, and happiness to you all. Stay safe, stay healthy. And just remember, winning kills hatred. Let's get to it. So the beginning of my journey started when I moved from Utah to South Carolina. And that was in June. I got out here. So I tried applying to almost everywhere, doing anything because I needed work to pay bills like anybody else. So I wasn't having much luck with that. So that led me to making a list of careers that I wouldn't mind doing long term. And that would be, you know, a little bit more solidified in the workforce so that if we ever moved again, I would have a job guaranteed pretty much. My list was plumbing, HVAC, and commercial driving. I knew I didn't want to become a CDL driver because, you know, they're away from home so much, and I'm a very homebody person, me and my fiance both, so I didn't want to, you know, mix that up and, you know, mess around and ruin my at-home life and all of that stuff. And then for plumbing, I knew that I didn't want to work around unsanitary environments for, you know, on a daily basis for so long. And not that plumbing is a bad trade, it's actually one of the great trades as well, but it just wasn't for me. So then that narrowed my list down to HVAC, and it stood out in big bold letters like "pick me." So that's what led me down the HVAC path. So once I decided that HVAC was going to be for me, I had applied to a few local companies, and I had interviews with 2 of them, and both of them, literally within 5 minutes of the interview, they told me they didn't want to, you know, go any further along with the interviews because they didn't want to waste their time with, you know, investing in someone who doesn't have any experience and all that stuff. So that was a really, really humbling low blow for me. But with the type of person I am, I just took it as a challenge. And, you know, I was like, I'm going to find a company that'll take the chance on me. And I ended up coming across my company now. We were over at my fiance's previous job, and we were doing a plumbing and HVAC job there. And we had a guy named Riley working for our company at the time, and he was a really, really nice guy. He was talking to my fiance about, you know, me and how I'm starting to, you know, want to get into HVAC, and I'm going to be going to school starting in August and all that good stuff. So he told me to go ahead and apply because he figured that the HVAC side could always use help. And that was probably the best piece of information he gave me, just to go ahead and apply, because a week later I had an interview and they hired me. And, you know, honestly, I feel like since I've started working here, this is the best company I've ever worked for. So thank you, Riley, for that. Really, seriously, thank you. I can't thank you enough for that, man. So starting off with my company, during my interview, I told them that I'd be going to school starting August 30th to go to school for HVAC, and I'll be doing a 3-month course, which would end in November, and then I'd be EPA certified from there. So my company, they were like, yeah, that's great, you know. However you get certified, just make sure you do it. So that was my plan. And then a couple weeks went by. Right before I was supposed to start, I called the school because I didn't hear back from them. And I called them like, hey, what's going on in regards to the coursework? And, you know, I want to start. So I'm calling you guys to follow up and get some good information. And they pretty much told me that I missed the deadline. Whatever deadline, I don't know. They were supposed to be reaching out to me, but that's another story. So they told me I had to wait until November to start my courses. And, you know, with me being so serious about HVAC, I was like, okay, that's fine. It's just a little bit of time for me to get into the field, learn some hands-on work, and it just make my classes a lot easier for me. So You know, I continued to work up until November came around. Then when November or late October came around, and I called the school, and I'm like, hey, I'm calling early so I don't miss anything. You know, I just want to make sure all the ducks are in a row so that when the courses start, I can come in, get certified as fast as I can, and all of that stuff. And, you know, the guy, he was telling me, yeah, man, I'm so sorry, but you missed this course as well because there was a waiting list that you didn't make, and, you know, there were some people ahead of you that were waiting from the last course. So then he told me I had to wait until January, which, again, I'm so serious about the field that I didn't really let that bother me. I was just like, okay, that's just more and more time for me to learn more HVAC and just make my life easier. January came around and I called the school and I'm talking to the guy and he's like, sorry, man, we dropped the ball on this. We were really unorganized. And he told me that I'd be able to make it for the spring session, which I was like, dude, I can't wait until the spring, you know, because my company's willing to have me study and take the test through them. So I really don't want to wait until the spring. So that day I'm on the phone with him. He's like, no, the spring session starts tonight. So I'm like, dude, what? So in my head, I'm like, when was I going to know any of this stuff? You know, I probably would have never known had I not been proactive and called. And it doesn't really surprise me because of the past situations I've had with them. So then I told him, you know, let me think things over. And I'll talk to my fiance, I'll talk to my boss, and just make sure I make the right decision. And I don't want to just make a decision out of impulse. And that's what I did. And then about a week later, after I talked to my boss, our company owner, he came up to me and he was just telling me how great of a technician he think I could be, and you know, all of that good stuff. A bunch of great information from him, and that really made me up the ante on studying. Like I said, I had been studying from the day I started, but that really made me sit back and realize they're serious on this. You know, they really want to see me grow and take the next step and become certified. So I upped the ante on me studying each and every day. I was coming home about 3 hours a night, nothing too crazy, but I wasn't taking any shortcuts or nothing like that. I came home, sat right on my computer, right here, and I sat there, studied, took practice tests and all of that good stuff until I was really confident enough to take the test and pass it. And that's what's going to make passing the test a lot easier, is just being prepared. There's no such thing as overstudying, because these questions are random in the test. So, you know, there may be some things that you would have never studied and you come across on the test and that's a wrong answer. So just always study. That's what I did. Always be studious, always be learning. It'll take you a long way, seriously. Weeks went by and I had been studying, continuing to learn and just attain more information. And Josh, my company owner, he came up to me. He's like, hey man, are you ready to take the test? And in my mind, I'm like, are you giving it to me today? But he's just like, no, it won't be today or, you know, this week or nothing like that. But I just want to see where your head's at. And I told him I'm ready. You know, I've been studying. I'll take it serious. And, you know, whenever you give me the test, I'll be willing to take it and I'm going to pass it. So I was planning on taking it in the month of January. But our sales rep is so busy that he couldn't get around to giving me the test until like February 2nd. So about a week before the test, I was just really anxious. And I was asking my boss and I was asking him like, hey, when am I taking my test? When am I taking my test? Because I put the work in, so I was really proud to let it be shown that I'm not just coming here to pay my bills each and every day. So February 2nd came around, and that's when I took my test, and I tested for the universal, which is core, type 1, type 2, and type 3. But for my work, I only needed core and type 2. But with me being the type of person I am, if I have the opportunity to become certified, I'm an overachiever, so I'm going to do that. And I had been studying all the coursework for all sectors of HVAC, aside from the MVAC, which is a whole another certification that's 609, but that's another video. I had been studied up and all that. So the day came around for me to take the test. I was really nervous. I texted my brother and my sister, like my stomach's in knots right now, and they were just telling me, you know, we know you put the work in. We know how you are, so don't be nervous. Just go into it and kill it. And that's what I did, man. I went into it with a lot of confidence, knowing that I put the work into study. And I felt like I learned a good amount of information. And most of the stuff on the test I knew already. So that just made it a lot easier for me. Like, test day came around. And like I said, I was really nervous going into the test because I didn't know what to expect. I put all this work in and I didn't want it to go to waste. And I didn't want to make the people that I know care about me and that would be proud of me, I didn't want to let them down. So that was really all my nerves were about. It wasn't about the fact that I didn't know what was on the test, because I put so much effort into learning it that I had almost no choice but to know it all. And I ended up passing my core which was the section that you have to have no matter what section you're trying to become certified in. You have to pass core. I got a 92 in that, and that's pretty high because you need a 70 on all 4 courses. So I got a 92 on the core. I got an 80 on my type 1. I got a 92 on the type 2, which I needed for work, so I needed core in type 2. And then type 3, I got an 84%. So, you know, I tested really, really well. And, you know, that all came from me just continuing to study. And if there's any piece of advice I can give any of you guys, you just really, really have the mindset of wanting to be better. I know what I want in HVAC, and I don't want to disclose that to you guys because I want you guys to follow my journey and my growth. And you'll see where I plan on taking HVAC, and trust me, you won't want to miss out on that. Like, seriously. If you're serious about it, man, just go into it and have the mindset that you want to be the best tech that you can be, and study your behind off. I was about to curse, but I'm keeping this censored so that, you know, it can fit all age levels. But yeah, seriously, take it really, really serious and study your behind off, because it'll pay off, man. It's going to pay off on paper. It's going to pay off when you get paid. It's going to pay off when you're in the field. Everything it's all hand in hand with each other. So that's the piece of advice I can give you guys. Make sure you study from the time that you decide that you want to do HVAC up until you take your test. No matter if you're going to school, if you're not going to school, study, study, study. And trust me, you're gonna really love the fact that you did do that, because it's gonna make your life a lot easier, and it's gonna be a lot more rewarding in the end. After I took my test and I found out that I passed, I reached out to my fiance. She was the first person I texted, and I was like, "Hey, I passed," and she was like, "I knew it, I knew it, I knew it. You know, you're amazing, and you put so much work in, and you just worked your behind off up until this point, and I knew you would pass, and I don't even know why you were so nervous and all of that stuff." And, you know, my sister, she was saying the same thing. My older brother, he's more like the straightforward guy. He's like, "See, I told you, you know, you got this," and all that stuff. So it felt amazing to make my 2 older siblings proud of me, because I've always been the youngest. So, you know, give them that, and it makes me feel so much better as a young man, knowing that they look at me as a man doing what I love to do, and I took the time out to learn it. And then, you know, my older cousins, they're the same way. They're people I looked up to in my life, and making them proud, it felt amazing. My father, he's really big on schoolwork, getting your, you know, learning, studying, remembering your stuff, knowing your stuff. If you're going to do it, be the best at it. So for me to score so high and all that, I reached out to him, and it made him proud, and that was like, you know, a heart-wrenching moment for me. And then the same thing with my mom. Anything that I do, she just always tells me, it doesn't matter what you do. You can be a freaking trash truck driver. You can be a shoes tire, or whatever it is. Just make sure that you're the best at it. So for me to call her and let her know that I passed it, and that I'm making, you know, steps towards becoming the best technician I can be, it just felt great, man. So if you can find some people that support you, make sure you keep those people in your corner throughout this process, because at times this process can feel daunting, and it may feel like you're not getting anywhere. But trust and believe me when I say that it's so worth it in the end. But with all that being said, it's your boy HVAC1K. I'm clocking out. Hopefully you guys liked the video, and I will be dropping more and more heat and more informative videos just like this video in the future. And I plan on doing so once or twice a week. So yeah, be sure to join the family, and I'm clocking out.